Hi, I'm Sonja from Artwork by Sonja, and today I am going to show you how to make easy and affordable Valentine's Day art that everyone can make from home. I picked up all of the supplies used in this video for $24 from my local craft store. So for under $25, you just can't beat a cute seasonal decoration to either hang in your home or give to that special someone. So here's what you will need for today's project. 2 canvases. I picked up 10-inch by 10-inch canvases, and they're just the thin kind from my craft store. It was a 2-pack. It's a pretty good price. You'll need a pretty paper. I found this in the same craft store. I just loved it with the hearts and the shiny. If you don't want to pick up a pretty craft paper, you can use construction paper, any scrapbooking paper that you have in the house, or you can even take a piece of white paper and paint it to make it a pretty color design. You will need some scissors and a pencil. You'll need Mod Podge and an applicator. Paintbrush works great, a sponge brush. This is actually one designed just for it. It's going to be my first time using this. I'm pretty excited. 3 colors of acrylic paint. I picked up a craft paint. Any acrylic paint will be fine. I've picked out my favorite colors, which are pink, coral, and white. You can pick 3 colors that work for your home decor. A couple of paint brushes, nothing fancy. These are just a couple of my big brushes because I want it to go kind of quick. And then something to put your paint on. I'm using a paper palette, but in a pinch, I love paper plates. They're a fantastic temporary paint palette. Okay, as you can see, my paper is bigger than my canvas, and I don't want it to cover the whole canvas because I want it to have kind of an artsy look. So I'm going to trim/tear this paper so that it fits just inside the borders of my canvas. So I'm gonna do that by putting my paper down and tracing a quick line just so I have the rough size. And then I'm going to fold it. Give it a nice crease and then fold it the other direction just to kind of weaken the paper in that area. And you see we have a nice little torn edge instead of just a straight edge. So I'm going to do that on all 4 sides because I don't want a straight, even cut. The really neat thing about this project is that there's no right or wrong way to do it. And when you have finished it, it's something that you can hang on your wall and actually say, wow, I made this. I have my paper, it fits on my canvas. And now for step 2, it's time to take our paper and fold it in half, just like we did when we were in grade school. We're gonna fold it in half and take our pencil and draw half of a heart shape. Remember when we made these cards in kindergarten and 1st grade? So draw half of a heart shape in the center of your paper. So you want your heart to kind of go from here to about here. You want your heart to fill about this space, okay? And it just is like a big C. And if you want, you can practice this on a piece of plain copy paper before you cut it out. The reason we're drawing on the back is because it gives you a chance to kind of fine-tune your heart shape. And you can see I actually fixed my shape. I didn't like my first line. Now we have our half heart shape in the middle of the paper. You want to be sure to leave paper here and paper here because we're making a center cutout on this paper. So take your scissors, cut out your heart. So we're cutting both sides of the heart at the same time, and this is a foolproof way to make a symmetrical heart. Have you ever drawn a heart and one side is higher than the other and one side's a little bit fatter than the other? This is a surefire way to have a perfectly shaped heart. And there you go. So we're going to use all of this, okay? Here is our cutout. So now that we have our paper ready, we can see that eventually it will be going on here, and this one will be going on here. See? Okay, this is the fun part where we get to explore our creative side, play with some paint, get a little messy without any intimidation or any stress that this is going to turn out bad, because our entire goal is to cover this in shades of pink. For me, it's going to be shades of pink and coral. So we just need this covered in a pretty color palette that you would like for your home. Now, keep in mind, when we put this on top of the paint, this part here in the middle is going to show through. So it'd be really cool to focus on the middle and try to get a little bit of swirls or splatter, or, you know, show a couple different colors of brush strokes, just so you have some nice variety and you can see your cool paint job here. And then again, our cool paint job will be the background for this one, and we'll be putting the heart on top of it. So on this one, you will be seeing all of your nice brushwork all on the edges. And so that is our plan for our painting. Again, you can't get this wrong. Just have some fun putting some color on the canvas. Whoa. I need to shake that up. I don't use these craft paints too often. All right, let's try that again. Woo! Oh, look at that color. Oh my gosh, I love that color. So I'm going to use these colors as they are out of the bottle, and I'm gonna blend them. So I'm definitely gonna create more than the 3 colors. I'm gonna use the pink and the white to make a light pink, and I'm gonna use the coral and the white to make a light coral, and I will probably blend the pink and the coral. So I'll probably end up with about, what, 6 colors instead of 3. This one I am gonna wing it because in my mind's eye, I want something non-structured that just shows kind of a lot of blurry color. So here we go. So when you put wet paint on wet paint, you can actually blend the colors right on the canvas. You want to see this? So I just kind of made some stripes. That's pretty fun. You could certainly just work with that. As you can see, that took me, what, less than a minute. I am going to go ahead and paint the edges of mine because I'm going to hang these on my wall without a frame. It keeps it fun and affordable, and for something that I'm just going to hang up or place on my mantle for a short time, I'm not going to frame these. So when I'm painting the edges, I hold this wood trim on the back, and you kind of have to do a balancing act. Your chances of getting paint on you are much higher when you do this. So I do recommend wearing something that you don't mind getting dirty. Okay, so I have my edges painted. I am working on my craft table, so I don't really have a problem if I get paint on my table. If you're working on your kitchen table, take a trash bag, cut it open, and create your own disposable plastic tablecloth. Those are amazing. I use them for my kids all the time. And now I'm just gonna kind of come in and break this up a little bit. add a little color. We're gonna go kind of 80s, modern 80s theme here. And I think maybe we'll drop a little dots on it. Nope, I don't like the dots. Let's start over. We're going to do circles. See what I mean? You really can't mess this up. Also, the coolest thing about paint is if you really don't like it, you can use paint and cover it up. Paint is like magic. Yes, I have covered up a lot of stuff when I'm painting, when I'm working on paintings. You know, I'll do a dog's nose and I don't like it, and I'll just go paint over top of it again until it's the way that I want it to look. So that's one of the really cool things about paint. Okay, this looks pretty cool. So it's just smeary and smudgy. Can you see that? Just pretty. So I'm gonna use the same colors, but I'm gonna use a little bit of the same style too, but I'm probably gonna reverse it. So this one looks like it has more coral. I think this one I'm gonna go more pink and white. So we're just gonna cover the next one and then we're gonna let these two sit to dry. So what's going to keep these two looking like a pair is the same color palette, but I'm gonna do the same swirl stroke. I really wouldn't recommend if you're going to do splatter on one and smooth brush stroke on the other. Well, let me just say that's just not my taste, because I want mine to be a little more matchy-matchy, but you may want them to be totally not matchy. So again, there's no wrong way to do this. You could even just do this brush stroke if that's your comfort zone, because this looks pretty darn cool too. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just dabbing in the color and adding just like a little touch in, because I wanna break up these strokes. I wanna see more than one color happening. So in areas where maybe I've blended too much, I'm breaking it up with some additional color. Now we need to just let these dry. Craft paint dries pretty quick. If you don't have a lot of thick brush strokes, you know, this will be dry in no time. So you do want to make sure that these are good and dry before we try to glue down our paper. So my canvases have dried, and as you can see, I have a couple of different designs. They're in the same color palette. I have my paper. Remember, we cut this out. So one goes on the center of one art, like so, and the other gets centered on the other art. And this is essentially what we're aiming for. What we're doing is we're gluing this down onto the center of this canvas. You can get messy with this. You can get glue on canvas by accident. Just glue it right on. See how I'm gluing off the edges, getting some glue on the canvas? It's okay, because we're going to be gluing the canvas anyway. Here's the tricky part. For those of you who don't feel comfortable eyeballing, you're allowed to use a ruler if you want to make sure that it's perfectly in the middle or close to the middle. That's what we're aiming for. And there we have it. Woohoo! Now to glue the other side. And on this side, I am trying to get it roughly centered. You have a little time to shift it around while it's still wet. When you're happy with where it is, press it down. And there you have it. Okay. As you can see, the shiny part there, I got some glue on the canvas, but that's okay, because we're getting ready to glue the entire canvas. So I have my pieces in place. Now for the finishing touch, you just, for those of you who've never decoupaged before, this stuff is called Mod Podge, and it is basically like a glue, but it is designed to be a surface, like a surface finish. And we are going to surface finish the tops of these, and when we're done, it will be a lovely matte protective coating so that these little edges will not be peeling up or falling off. So we're gonna coat the entire canvas and the edges so that they all have a matching finish, and we will have to let these dry overnight. So I'll be back with these tomorrow to show you the finished product. I have completely covered my one heart, and I wanted to mention when Mod Podge is wet, it is cloudy. And so when you put it on, you might, I know I did the first couple times, I went, oh my gosh, this looks awful. I can't use this. What was I thinking? This is horrible stuff. It dries completely clear and it's pretty amazing. That's also partly how you'll know when it's dry, is it will be clear. There will be no more cloudy areas, and it will no longer be tacky to the touch. And once it's dry, you're ready to go. All right, the second heart is covered and is cloudy and has the brush strokes all going horizontally. Okay, I have the second heart all covered in my decoupage, and it's cloudy. All my vibrant colors are now hidden behind the cloudy glue. I am gonna let these dry, and I might need to add a second coat. There are directions on the bottle that tells you that you can do multiple coats, and it tells you the time to wait in between. So there we are. We are gonna let this dry. I'm gonna be inspecting, and I cannot wait to come back and show you the finished project. As you can see, my decoupage has dried. It is no longer tacky to the touch. It is safe to transport, hang, gift wrap, put up in your home, place on your mantle, and enjoy this season of love. I truly love this tip for creating homemade art because I really feel like that everybody can create art, and this is one of those projects where you just don't have to be afraid to pick up the paintbrush and have some fun with it. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button or give it a thumbs up. If you have questions about this project, please leave them in the comments below, or feel free to contact me on my website at artworkbysonya.com.